They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Night of the living dead.
Hey, XENO-HEADS. Tonight we review our first ever movie. Just me and the gang. And what a classic it is. George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. The first zombie movie of its kind. I first saw this movie with my human when he was just 12 years old. He became an instant fan, and so did I. Tonight we're watching it in the spooky forbidden room for extra spookiness. What the hell is that? Might not have been a good idea.
I sense something. A presence I've not felt since.
Whatever that was. Anyway, without further ado, George Romero, Wayne Jones, Russell Streiner, Judith O'Dea, Carl Hardman, Marilyn Fassman, Judith Ridley, Keith Wayne, Kira Schoen as Karen Cooper, and of course, Bill Heinzman as Zombie Number 1, Night of the Living Dead. Some real creepy music. Image 10. There's just something about black and white. Night of the Living Dead. I could swear I heard this music playing while I floated through space after that bitch blew me out the airlock. Cemeteries used to be frequented by my human and his friends when he was a punk teenager. I remember those days.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, I know that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
Candy and graves.
No.
Unbeatable
Look at
combo.
this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Test. We're back on. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problem.
Yep, ignore the radio. I do.
There's nothing wrong with the radio. Must have been the station.
Which row is it in?
Well, there's no one around.
Well, it's late. If you'd gotten up earlier.
Oh, look, I already lost an hour's sleep on the time change.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk.
I talk to hear
There it
myself complain.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year's gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
Yeah, a little spit and polish, you can clean this up. Sell it next year. Wonder how many times we bought the same one. Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh?
Uh-oh, a staggering drunk.
Hey, I mean, praying's for church, huh? Come on.
I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boy, you be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now. I mean it.
Classic line.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
They're coming to get you,
Stop it.
Barbara.
You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look,
Not looking
there
too
comes
good,
one of
my
them
man.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny.
Great brothering right there. Leave your sister to the stumbler.
Oh! No! Johnny!
Oh, now you care. It was at this moment that the stumbler realized his calling. Cue the lightning. Hey, watch out for the grave decoration! That's right, R2. Zombies in this movie are smarter than most, using weapons and such. They are the Albert Einsteins of zombies. Our house should have its own gas pump. Nah. Gotta pee. Stumbler hates clotheslines. Got dark so quick, even he is astonished. Hey guys, where'd the sun go? Also, this blonde lady. I think I have a shot. It's a UFO! Oh no. Dwayne Jones to the rescue. Hero of the day.
It's all right. Don't worry about him. I can handle him. Probably be a lot more of them as soon as they find out about us. The truck is out of gas. This pump out here is locked. Is there a key? We can try to get out of here if we can get some gas. Is there a key? I suppose you've tried this. Do you live here? Jesus. We've got to get out of here. We have to get to where there's some other people. Maybe we better take some food. I'll see if I can find some food.
What's happening?
What's happening?
How do you think it's happening?
What's happening?
Two of them. There are two of them out there. Have you seen any more around here? I can take care of those two.
I don't
I know you're afraid, but we have
I
to...
don't know! I don't know! What's happening?
Ghostly ghoul fears the light. Creepy even for me. And introducing Paul Rubens as Pee Wee Herman, founder of Pee Wee's Playhouse. Hey, is there a movie playing in here? What's the word of the day now?
here now.
Ah! Pee-wee's eyes moved. Hit him again.
Don't look at it.
Time for s'mores.
Get some more lights on in this house. Why don't you see if you can find some wood, some board, something there by the fireplace, something we can nail this place up. Oh, God damn.
Look, I know you're afraid. I'm afraid too.
Barb is on another
But we have to
planet.
try to board the house up together.
LV-426 to be sure.
And the doors. Do you understand? We'll be all right here. We'll be all right here until someone comes to rescue us. But we'll have to work together. You'll have to help me. Now, I want you to go in and get some wood so I can board the place up. Do you understand? Okay? Okay?
Yes. Yes, stare into the box. Ah.
bunch. Count some nails. Pick out the biggest ones you can find.
Wait, pause the movie. Can we just do our video ghosts? God. Oh, great. That rocking chair sound is starting again. All the lights are shaking now. What the hell?
Spiritual presence in this room is most powerful tonight.
Check. All right, we're back to continue the movie. The ghostly activity has gone down. For now.
There, this room looks pretty secure. If we have to, we can run in here and board up the doors. Won't be long for those things to be back pounding their way in here. They're afraid now. They're afraid of fire. I found that out. You know a place back down the road called Beekman's? Beekman's Diner? Anyhow, that's where I found that truck I have out there. There's a radio in the truck. I had jumped in to listen to it when a big gasoline truck came screaming right across the road with there must have been 10, 15 of those things chasing after it, grabbing and holding on. Now, I didn't see them at first. I could just see that the truck was moving in a funny way. And those things were catching up to it. The truck went right across the road. Slammed on my brakes to keep from hitting it myself. It went right through the guardrail. I guess the driver must have cut off the road into that gas station by Beekman's Diner. It went right through the billboard, ripped over a gas pump, and never stopped moving. By now, it's like a moving bonfire. Didn't know if the truck was going to explode or what. Could still hear the man screaming. This thing is just backing away from it. I looked back at the diner to see if there was anyone there who could help me. It was when I noticed that the entire place had been encircled. There wasn't a sign of life left except by now there were no more screams. I realized that I was alone with 50 or 60 of those things, just standing there, staring at me. I started to drive. I just plowed right through them. They didn't move. They didn't run or just stood there staring at me. Just wanted to crush them.
Yeah, I have days like that too. Just want to crush my enemies and hear the lamentations of the women.
Through the air like
And
bugs.
wrong movie.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is good.
We were riding in the cemetery, Johnny and me. Johnny.
Oh. This is gonna be a long story.
We came to put a wreath on my father's grave.
Oh.
Johnny, and he said, "Can I have some candy?"
Oh, she's mentioned candy and everything.
We didn't have any.
Uh-huh.
And it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Hot.
Oh, you don't say. You're wearing a jacket.
And he said, "Oh, it's late. Why did we start so late?"
Whoa.
And I said, "Johnny, if you'd gotten up earlier, we wouldn't be late."
Oh, boy.
Johnny asked me if I were afraid. And I said, "I'm not afraid, Johnny."
Uh-huh.
And then
Right.
this man started walking up the road.
The Stumbler!
He came slowly, and Johnny kept teasing me and saying, "He's coming to get you, Barbara."
Oh,
And I
he was.
laughed at him and said, "Johnny, stop it." And then Johnny ran away.
Yeah.
And I went up to this man, and I was going to apologize.
Never apologize to
Why
a
don't
stumbler.
you just keep calm?
And I looked up, and I said, "Good evening." And he grabbed me. He grabbed me, and he ripped at me.
Ah.
He held me, and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just calm down.
Oh, I screamed, "Johnny! Johnny, help me! Oh, help me!" And he wouldn't let me go. He ripped. And then Johnny came and he ran and he fought this man.
He did fight him.
I got so afraid.
Then
I
he
ran.
died.
I ran. And Johnny didn't come. We have to wait for Johnny. Maybe we better go out and get him. We have to go out and get Johnny. He's out there. Please, don't you hear me? We've got to go out and get him.
Then ain't hearing none of this.
We have got to go get Johnny. Please help me. Please.
Don't you know what's going on out there? This is no Sunday school picnic.
Ben, played by Dwayne Jones, is correct. When the world is being overrun and the dead are feasting upon the flesh of the living, it is truly not a Sunday school picnic. Well, unless that Sunday school is full of cannibals.
Don't you understand? My brother is alone!
Your brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead! Oh.
Bam! Punch out! Yeah. And down. Chivalry is truly not dead. Well, she was complaining earlier that it was hot.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments. At this hour, we repeat, these are the facts as we know them. There is an epidemic of mass murder being committed by a virtual army of unidentified assassins. The murders are taking place in villages, cities, rural homes, and suburbs with no apparent pattern or reason for the slayings. It seems to be a sudden, general explosion of mass homicide. We have some descriptions of the assassins. Eyewitnesses say they are ordinary-looking people. Some say they appear to be in a kind of trance. Others describe them as being... So, at this point, there is no really authentic way for us to say who or what to look for and guard yourself against. Misshapen monsters. Reaction of law enforcement officials is one of complete bewilderment at this hour. So far, we have been unable to determine that any kind of organized investigation is yet underway. Police, sheriff's deputies, and emergency ambulances are literally deluged with calls for help. The scene can best be described as mayhem. Mayors of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Miami, along with the governors of several eastern and midwestern states, have indicated the National Guard may be mobilized at any moment, but that has not happened as yet. The only advice our reporters have been able to get from official sources is for private citizens to stay in their homes behind locked doors. Do not venture outside for any reason until the nature of this crisis has been determined and until we can advise what course of action to take. Keep listening to radio and TV for any special instructions as this crisis develops further. Thousands of office and factory workers are being urged to stay at their places of employment, not to make any attempt to get to their homes. However, in spite of this urging and warning, streets and highways are packed with frantic people trying to reach their families or apparently to flee just anywhere. We repeat, the safest course of action at this time is simply to stay where you are.
Burning down the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've just received word that the president has called a meeting of his cabinet to deal with the sudden epidemic of murder which has seized the eastern third of this nation. The meeting is scheduled to convene within the hour. Members of the presidential cabinet will be joined by officials of the FBI and joint chiefs behind closed doors. The White House spokesman, in announcing this conference, says there will be an official announcement as soon as possible following that meeting. This is the latest dispatch just received in our newsroom. Latest word also from National Press Services in Washington, D.C. now tells us that the emergency presidential conference, which we've just mentioned, will include high-ranking scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.
Whoa! Secret door!
Members of his cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and scientists from NASA within the hour. All radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country, including the one to which you were listening, have joined their facilities in an emergency network to bring you this news as it develops. We urge you to stay tuned to radio and TV and to stay indoors at all costs. Late reports reaching this newsroom tell of frightened people seeking refuge in churches, schools, and government buildings, demanding shelter and protection from the wholesale murder which apparently is engulfing much of the nation. Law enforcement officials are at a loss to explain or, even at this hour, even to theorize about the reasons for this wave of murder. So far, the advice we are able to give the public is summarized by Police Chief T.K. Dunmore of Camden, North Carolina, who's quoted as saying, quote, "Tell the people for God's sake to get off the streets. Tell them to go home and lock their doors and windows up tight. We don't know what kind of murder-happy characters we have here." End quote. Police Chief Dunmore of Camden, North Carolina. So far, the only descriptions, the only clues anyone has of the killers come from frightened witnesses of some of the slayings. These eyewitness accounts variously describe the murderers as ordinary-looking people, misshapen monsters, people who look like they're in a trance, and things that look like people but act like animals. Some eyewitnesses tell of seeing victims who look as though they had been torn apart. This whole ghastly story began developing 2 days ago with the report of the slaying of a family of 7 in their rural home near hopscotch in an erratic, disconnected manner throughout much of the eastern and midwestern United States. Efforts to keep track of the murder reports by the placing of markers on a map seem to indicate a general spreading from the extreme southeastern United States to the north and west. Our newsmen have been on the telephone talking with officials in other cities and have determined that none of this kind of mass murder has yet been reported west of the Mississippi River, except in the extreme southeastern portion of Texas. Similar killings have been reported around the Houston and Galveston areas, but nothing like...
I found a gun and some bullets out there.
It was only late yesterday.
Oh, and these.
So my date the other night left the ball in a hurry and lost this slipper. Will it fit you?
This place is boarded up pretty solid now. We ought to be all right here for a while. We have the gun and bullets, food and the radio. Sooner or later, someone's bound to come and get us out.
Creatures from outer space. So again, we join with law enforcement agencies, urging you to seek shelter in a building. Lock the doors and windows securely.
Hey, that's us. We're doing all right.
Cautious of any suspicious strangers. And keep tuned to your radio and television for survival instructions and further details of this continuing story.
Look, I don't know if you're hearing me, but I'm going upstairs now. If anything should try to break in here, I can hear it from up there. I'll be down to take care of it. Everything is all right for now. I'll be back to reinforce the windows and doors later. But you'll be all right for now, okay? Okay.
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Consistent reports from witnesses to the effect that people who acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims.
Cannibalism news
Medical authorities
is really
in
going to help
Cumberland
Barb's
have
mental
concluded
state.
that in
What do
all
y'all think?
cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people they murdered. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill. And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you, reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe from this wave of mass murder.
Hey, what's going on up here?
Hold it! Don't shoot! We're from town. A radio.
County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that reports of murder victims being partially eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time. However,
How long you guys been down there? I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket we were making up here?
How are we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody ever needed help.
Look, it's kind
The
of hard to hear what's
customary
going on.
butting of heads in
We
crisis
thought we could hear
situations.
screams, but
Can't hear noise, heard all the noise. Safer in the cellar, safer upstairs. It's using ventilation shafts.
How are we supposed to know what was going on?
Wrong movie again.
You just got finished saying you couldn't hear from down there. Now you say it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It would be nice if you get your story straight, man.
All right, now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we got a safe place. We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we got to risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, why don't we settle this?
Look, mister, We came up. Okay,
Mr.
we're
Cooper
here.
cranks it up to 10
Now I
pretty
suggest
quick.
we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out we're in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs. They won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar's the safest place.
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you, those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all. Now you tell me those things can't get through this lousy pile of wood?
His wife and kids downstairs. The kid's hurt.
Well, I still think we're better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Mr. Cooper.
With all of us working, we could fix this place up in no time. We have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Man, you're really crazy, you know that? You got 1,000,000 windows up here. All these windows, you're gonna make them strong enough to keep these things out, huh?
I told you, those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me when I told you they turned over our car?
Oh, hell, any good 5 men can do that.
That's my point. Only there's not going to be 5 or even 10. There's going to be 20, 30, maybe 100 of those things. And as soon as they know we're here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
Well, if there are that many, they'll probably get us wherever we are.
Look, the cellar. The cellar, there's only one door, right? Just one door, that's all we have to protect. Tom and I fixed it so it locks and boards from the inside. But up here, all these windows, why, we'd never know where they were going to hit us next.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar is a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this. We can make it to the cellar if we have to. And if we do decide to stay down there, we'll need some things from up here. So let's at least consider this a while.
If you box yourself in this cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Yeah, it looks like about 8 or 10 out there now.
It's more than there were. There are a lot out back, too.
Resident Evil moment.
Resident Evil.
Cut those fingers like they're wax. Disgusting. Yeah. Shot to the chest. Unfazed.
Harry?
It's all right.
Harry, what's happening?
It's all right.
Yeah. There we go. Shot to the chest again. Midsection. Mid-sternum. Unfazed. Oh, headshot does the trick. And even more come for the party. Ah! 1960s bear blood. Must have died in the nude. Ha ha! Swatting at flies. Oh, what's this? Oh. Ah. Tasty centipede.
We gotta fix these boards.
You're crazy. Those things are going to be at every window and door in this place. We've got to get down into the cellar.
Go down in your damn cellar. Get out
I
of
love
here!
how Mr. Cooper stays at a 10.
I'm taking the girl with me.
You leave her here. Keep your hands off her. And everything else that's up here, too. Because if I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the radio and the food is part of what I'm fighting for. Now, if you're going down the cellar, get.
The man's insane. He's insane.
The man's insane.
We've got to have
He's
food
just
down
insane.
there. We've got to wait.
This is your house.
We've got to wait.
You going down there with him?
Well,
Yes or no? This is your last chance. No beating around the bush.
Listen, I got a kid down there. She can't possibly. I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the racket and those things smashing through the windows.
Well, you're her father. If you're stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. It is tough for the kid that old man is so stupid.
Whoa, snap!
Now, you get the hell down in the cellar. You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
You bastards.
Bastards!
You know, I won't open this door again.
He's just so extra.
Mr. Cooper, with your help, we can...
With my help.
Let him go, man. His mind is made up. Just let him go.
Yeah,
Wait
let
a
him go. Been injecting
Judy,
some
come on
realism
up.
here.
You're gonna let them get hurt too, huh?
Well,
Sorry.
yeah. We gotta feed the zombies later. You'll see. Judy screws up.
If we stick together, man, we can fix it up real good.
Leading at a door.
There's lots of places we can run to up here.
Begging Mr.
Mr.
Cooper, I'm
we'd all be a lot better
pleading
off
at
if
a
all three of us were working together.
Yeah, baby, I'm pleading at a door.
Hey, kid.
Oh, 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 oh. It's a pretty good vibrato there. Yeah.
He's wrong, you know. I'm not boxing myself in down there.
We repeat, this radio station will remain on the air day and night.
Well, we're safe now. It's boarded up tight.
What about Tom and Judy?
They want to stay up there, let them. There are two other people upstairs, a man and a girl.
We heard you screaming.
Yeah, but I didn't know who they were, and I wasn't about to take any unnecessary chances.
Of course not, Harry.
Is she all right?
I don't know what it is. She feels warm. Maybe it's shock.
Where'd you get the bandage?
Some laundry in a basket. I tore a sheet.
Let them stay upstairs. Let them. Too many ways those monsters can get in up there. We'll see who's right. We'll see when they come begging me to let them in down here.
That's important, isn't it?
What?
To be right, everybody else to be wrong.
What do you mean by that?
Does anyone up there know why we're being attacked?
Whatever it isn't just happening here. It's some kind of mass murder. It's going on everywhere. The radio said to stay inside.
Radio?
Radio upstairs. I heard a news bulletin.
There's a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
Radio.
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing. Nothing. They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder everywhere, and people are supposed to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
Harry, that radio is at least some kind of communication. If the authorities know what's happening, well, they'll send people for us so they'll tell us what to do. How are we going to know what's going on if we lock ourselves in this dungeon?
Throw that cigarette down.
You're all going to die down here.
We may not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything. Those people are
Dying
our
together
enemies.
would help the zombies. Just saying.
Mr. Cooper, Ben found a television set upstairs.
Let's go up. Tom,
Television.
Yeah.
With any luck, we can catch the movie of
if
the
Judy
week.
would come
I think
downstairs
it's
for
Alien.
a few minutes, Harry and I could come upstairs.
Okay, yeah, right away. Will you do it?
Do I have to?
Look, honey, nothing's gonna get done with them down there and us up here. Do this for me.
Okay.
Okay, open up.
I'll take good care of her, Helen. She's all I have. Why don't you go upstairs now?
Her brother was killed.
Hey, give me a hand with this thing.
I gotta go help Ben with the television.
Mr. Shifty Eyes Cooper. Yep, still on LV 426.
Don't be afraid of me. I'm Helen Cooper, Harry's wife.
This place is ridiculous. Look at this. There's a million weak spots up here. Give me one of those.
Her brother was killed.
And they talk about these windows. I can't see a damn thing. There could be 50
I'm
million
Mr.
of those
Cooper.
things out there. That's how much
I'm
money
gonna
these windows
water the
are.
house, constantly complaining about shit.
Why don't you do something to help somebody?
Here I have it. Drag a couple of those chairs together.
There's a socket over here. You better watch this and try to understand what's going on.
Now you better watch this and try to understand what's going
life on my
on.
hands.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't want to hear any more from you, mister. If you stay up here, you take orders from me. And that includes leaving the girl alone.
It's on, it's on.
There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. What do they think? We're imagining all this?
Shut up!
Yeah, shut up!
The wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims. First eyewitness accounts of this grisly
world
development
is
came from people who were
screwed.
understandably frightened and almost incoherent. Officials and newsmen at first discounted those eyewitness descriptions as being beyond belief. However, the reports persisted. And medical examinations of some of the victims bore out the fact that they had been partially devoured.
Uh-oh.
I think we have some late word just arriving, and I'll interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder.
Freaky.
A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that
Always
the
the finest
unburied dead
places.
are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact.
Seems to.
When this emergency first began, radio and television was advising people to stay inside, behind locked doors for safety. Well, that situation has now changed, and we're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defense machinery has been organized to provide rescue stations with food, shelter, medical treatment, and protection by armed National Guardsmen. Stay tuned to the broadcasting stations in your local area for this list of rescue stations. This list will be repeated throughout our news coverage. Look for the name of the rescue station nearest you and make your way to that location as soon as possible.
So we have that truck. If we can get some gas, we can get out of here.
There's a pump out by the shed.
I know, that's why I pulled in here, but it's locked.
Called this afternoon by the President. Since convening this conference of the Presidential Cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CIA has not produced any public information. Why are space experts being consulted about an earthbound emergency? So far, all the betting on the answer
It
to
always
that question
comes
centers
from
on the recent
space.
Explorer satellite shot to Venus. That satellite, you'll recall, started back to Earth, but never got here. That's the space vehicle which orbited Venus and then was purposely destroyed by NASA when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation with it.
Yeah.
Could that radiation
Gotta watch out for
be
that
somehow
Venus
responsible
radiation.
for the wholesale murders we're now suffering? Newsman Don Quinn in Washington has posed those questions.
It's obvious our best move is to try to get out of here.
How are you going to get over to that pump?
Look!
You're coming from a meeting regarding the explosion of the Venus probe, is that right, sir?
Yes, that was the subject of the meeting.
You feel there is a connection between this and the phenomenon?
There's a definite connection.
In other words, you feel that the radiation on the Venus probe is enough to cause these mutations?
There was a very high degree of radiation.
Well, just a minute. I'm not sure that that's certain at all. I don't think that has been
logical
irrefutably
explanation that
proved.
we have at this time.
In other words, it is the military's viewpoint that the radiation is not the cause of the mutation.
I can't speak for the entire military at this time, gentlemen.
This seems to
I
be.
must disagree with these gentlemen presently until this is irrefutably proved.
Everything is being done that can be done.
We'll have to hurry for our next meeting.
And Professor, you feel that there is a definite connection between them?
Definite connection as far as Dr. Keller and myself.
Doctor, please. I thought we decided that is not proved yet.
Was the satellite was exploded?
Unusual amount of radiation, enough to cause mutation.
Stop talking about the damn radiation.
Could have happened.
Have a bearing on it.
It does seem to have a bearing.
Flags on a car.
Will
Fancy.
there be a reply for the
Later?
Yes.
There will be a reply.
Yes.
Later this afternoon. There will be a report this afternoon.
Perhaps there will
Yes,
be a report,
yes.
a more
Later.
full report. Will you close the window?
We are doing everything possible.
Deny.
We're hoping to get some further explanation of this.
We've heard all we need to know. We have to try to get out of here.
He said the rescue stations have doctors and medical supplies. If we could get care in there, we could get help for her.
XENO is one of the world's foremost authorities on space science and technology.
Willard. I saw a sign that said Willard.
It's only about 17 miles from here.
You know this area. You from around here?
Willard
Judy
was
and I
a
are
rat,
both from around
right?
here. We were on our way up to the lake to go swimming. And Judy had a radio, and we heard the first reports about this. So we knew the old house was here, and we came in and found the lady upstairs dead. Then these other people came. We went down into the basement and put a bar across the door, and it is pretty strong.
How could we possibly get away from here? We've got a sick child, 2 women, 1 woman out of her head, 3 men, and the place is surrounded with these things.
For NASA. Dr. Grimes, your entire staff, I know, has been working very hard to find some solution to these things that are happening. Do you have any answers at this time?
Yes, we have some answers. But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in any way. We don't know yet what complications might result from such injuries.
How bad has your kid been hurt?
Good advice, Doctor. Now, how about the basic...
Look, you go down there and tell, Judy? Yeah, you tell Judy to come up here and you stay with the kid, all right?
Say how the kid's been hurt.
Venus probe. In the cold room at the university,
Not sus
we had
at
a
all.
cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its trunk. It was dead, but it opened its eyes. and
Moving
tried to
cadavers. Moving a trunk.
They want you upstairs. Did she ask for me?
She hasn't said anything.
I don't understand. Baby. It's Mommy.
I heard. I'll come back down as soon as I find out what they want.
Thank you, Judy.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
Well, how long after death, then, does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
Minutes? Well, that doesn't give people time to make any arrangements.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't give them time to make funeral arrangements. The bodies must be carried to the street and burned. They must be burned immediately. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The bereaved will have to forego the dubious comforts that a funeral service will give. They're just dead flesh and dangerous.
I see.
Judy, I need you to find some beds, or sheets to tear up into small strips, okay? Is there a fruit cellar here?
Yes.
We need some bottles or jars to make Molotov cocktails and hold them off while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there.
I'll see what I can find.
I'll look for the bottles.
There's a big key ring down there. There may be a key to the gas pump on it.
I'll check.
We can toss the cocktails from a window upstairs. Meantime, a couple of us can go out and try to get the gas and come back for the rest of the people.
But that'll leave a door open someplace.
Yeah, that's right. It better be this door. It's closer to the truck. Before we go out, we'll put some supplies behind the cellar door. While we're gone, the rest of you can hold up in there.
I found some fruit jars in the cellar. And there's a key on here that's labeled for the gas pump out back.
I'm not really that used to the truck. I found it abandoned.
I can handle the truck, no sweat.
You're it, then. You and I'll go.
Sounds like a plan.
We'll put whatever lumber we find behind the cellar door. You can go upstairs and toss the cocktails from a window. Tom, you and I will have to unboard this door. After you toss the cocktails, you hustle back down here and lock this door. It's no good to board it up because we'll have to get back in quickly. After we get the gas and get back into the house, then we'll worry about getting everybody into the truck. Now let's move it.
No place to flee for safety, except to the rescue stations which have been set up. Indications are that before this emergency is over, we will need many, many more such rescue stations.
You always have a smile for me. How can you smile like that all the time? How many do you have done? Come on, honey, we gotta move.
Tom, are you sure about the phone?
The phone is dead out. All you get is a recorded message.
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
Everything will be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call them. They might even be there.
Everyone wants to go to the rat.
Tom, are you sure we're doing the right thing, Tom?
What, about getting out of here?
Yeah.
Well, the television said that's the right thing to do. We've got to get to a rescue station.
I don't know.
Come on, honey, you're starting to sound like Mr. Cooper now.
But why do you have to go out there?
Look, I know how to handle that truck, and I can handle the pump. Ben doesn't know anything about that stuff.
But we're safe in here.
For how long, honey? We're safe now. But there's going to be more and more of those things.
I know all that.
Hey, listen. Remember when we had the big flood? Remember how difficult it was for us to convince you that it was right to leave? Remember we had to go to Willard then? This isn't a passing thing, honey. It's not like just a wind passing through. We've got to do something, and fast.
I just don't want you to go out there, that's all.
Hey, Smiley, where's that big smile for me? Boy, you're sure no use at all, are you? We've got work to do, honey. And you...
downstairs.
We have to go downstairs now, Barbara.
She's right. You have to go downstairs now, just for a little while, until we get back. Then we can all leave.
Oh, I'd like to leave. Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Handy dandy, working together. She's gonna screw it all up, isn't she? What's going on out here?
You ready upstairs?
Cool torch.
Okay, toss him!
Firebomb! Owning zombies. Firebomb! Owning zombies. Firebomb! Firebomb! Zombies. Fire, fire, pants on fire!
Go ahead, go on!
Yeah, she's gonna screw things up. I just know it. Oh, my shirt.
I'm going with him.
Yeah, she's gonna screw it up.
It's too late, it's too late!
What do I do? What do I do?
Unless you're coming, come on!
Okay.
Get in!
This seems like a fun part. Shoot him. Yeah. There's in the truck. There's in the truck. Fun fact. My human used to make torches like that with gasoline, a piece of wood, and a rag. Just to reenact this movie. Sorry, humans, Mom. Uh-oh. You want to go for a ride? Wow. Again, I just gotta say, black and white, sometimes there's nothing better. Yeah, torches and gas pumps.
This key won't work. Watch it.
Shoot the gas pump. Yeah. Way to swap the gas around the torch, guys. Uh-oh. Oh.
Gotta get away from the pump.
Well, this plan has gone awry. Yeah. Not sure what that one blank is going to do, but why not?
Hang on.
Free wheel burning. Free wheel burning.
Come on, come on.
My jacket's gone.
Yeah, she's screwing up. Tragic tale as old as time. Girlfriend's jacket gets struck, and the truck blows up. Well, that sucks. And here comes the slow gang, coming at you at 2 miles an hour. Again with the chest. Figure it out, man. Figure it out. I think I saw this scene in the Los Lobos video. Now, Mr. Cooper, you shifty-eyed sumbitch. Oh, do you need me? My eye. Bitch. Mr. Cooper, not you. Remember the look of Ben. Beat down.
I dragged you out there and feed you those things.
Yeah. Serves you right. He didn't start the fire. It's always burning since the wheel's been turning. Zombie cookout. Feast of the flesh. Ah, yummy victuals. Intestine juggling. Yeah. Femur drumsticks. Forearm drumsticks. Okay, pause. Now here is a zombie who really appreciates his food. Just look at that smile. Definitely believes in the old adage, waste not, want not. Okay, unpause.
Isn't it 3 o'clock yet? There's supposed to be another broadcast at 3 o'clock.
10 minutes.
Oh, only 10 more minutes? We don't have very long to wait. We can leave. Well, we better leave soon. It's 10 minutes to 3.
10 minutes to 3. Yeah.
You know anything about this area at all? I mean, is Willard the nearest town?
I don't know. We were just trying to get to a motel before dark.
You said those things turned your car over. You think we can get it back on its wheels and drive it? Where is it?
Seems like it was pretty far away. Seems like we ran.
Forget it. It's at least a mile.
Johnny has the keys.
You gonna carry that child a mile through that army of things out there?
I can carry the kid. What's wrong with her? How'd she get hurt?
One of those things grabbed her.
Bit her on the arm.
What's wrong?
Who knows what kind of disease those things carry? Is she conscious?
Barely.
She can't walk. She's too weak.
Once bitten, twice shy.
Well, one of us could try to get
Soon
to the
a
car.
cannibal
You
daughter
gotta
will
turn
know
over by
why.
yourself.
You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.
You have a car?
Where? Where is it?
You won't be able to start it.
Yeah, I know. But where is it?
More intestine juggling. Oh, and more bear butt.
Good Lord.
The zombie feast continues. I love these little get-togethers. Stay away from my
Being
drumstick.
monitored closely by scientists at all the radiation detection stations. At this hour, they report the level of the mysterious radiation continues to increase steadily. So long as this situation remains, government spokesmen warn that dead bodies will continue to be transformed into the flesh-eating ghouls. All persons who die during this crisis, from whatever cause, will come back to life to seek human victims unless their bodies are first disposed of by cremation. Our news cameras have just returned from covering such a search and destroy operation against the ghouls, this one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So now let's go to that film report. All law enforcement agencies and the military have been organized to search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Officials are quoted as explaining that since the brain of a ghoul has been activated by the radiation, the plan is kill the brain,
Kill the
and you
brain,
kill the
ghoul. Remember, there's going to be a quiz on this later.
No, we're all right. Hey, Cass, put that thing all the way in the fire. We don't want it getting up again. All right, I got you.
Chief McClellan, how's everything going?
Oh, things aren't going too bad. Men are taking it pretty good. You want to get on the other side of the road over there?
Chief, do you think we'll be able to defeat these things?
Well, we killed 19 of them today right in this area. Those last 3 we caught trying to claw their way into an abandoned shed. They must have thought somebody was in there. There wasn't, though. We heard them making all kind of noise. We came over and beat them off, blasted them down.
Chief, as soon as you're finished, can I see you here?
Yeah, okay.
Chief, if I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, there's no problem. If you had a gun, shoot them in the head. That's a sure way to kill them. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat them or burn them. They go up pretty easy.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you until you get the situation under control?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are. We know when we find them, we can kill them.
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, in time, would you say you ought to be able to wrap this up in 24 hours?
Well, we don't really know. We know we'll be into it most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're working our way toward Willard, and we'll team up with the National Guard over there, and then we'll be able to give a more definite view.
Thank you very much, Chief McClellan. This is Bill Cardill, WIC TV 11 News. Thank you, Bill, for that report. Official spokesmen declined to speculate just how long it may take to kill off all the flesh eaters, so long as the heavy rate...
How can they cut the power? They're just animals.
Is the fuse box in the cellar?
I don't know. It isn't the fuse. The power lines are down. Helen, I have to get that gun.
Haven't you had enough?
But 2 people are dead already on account of that guy. Take a look out that window. Get...
Uh-oh. Yeah, some more weapons using zombies. Yeah. Some George undead. Just walk around the smoldering pile. Yeah. Uh-oh. He's gonna go for the gun. Mr. Cooper is gonna go for the gun.
Get over here, man!
Yeah. Oh.
Come on!
Gonna do it. Uh-oh. Yeah, he's going for the gun. Going for the gun. Ben struggles. On your marks. Okay. He got it.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You want to stay up here now?
Yeah, gotta be right now.
Get the cellar. Get the cellar now. Move!
Yeah, Mr. Cooper doesn't stand a chance. Oh. Right in front of his wife, too. Boom! Uh-oh. Mrs. Cooper, Ben, how do you feel about her? The guy just got shot in Dan's. And I'm gonna fall down the stairs. Yeah. He's staggering. And Mr. Cooper goes down. Not by a guillotine. We're reaching in. We want some more fiddles. Oh, what's this? Barbara gets gutsy. For once. And Karen has succumbed.
Karen?
Time to feed your child, Coopers. Oh. It's a sad doings.
Oh, baby. Baby.
Grabs a spade. Oh, man. Stabbing zombie. That's new. Or, I guess old, since this is the movie that started it all. These echoey screams. Sounds like my dreams. Barbara's fighting. She's finally in the game. And uh-oh! Johnny! It's Johnny! Finally, her brother at last. Well, it kind of sucks, kind of sad, but at least Barbara gets to meet her brother again. Happy ending there. Uh-oh. Hey now, a girl needs to eat. You throw her on the couch. have an open house for the zombie real estate market. Quaint, spacious, a nice farmhouse. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, gas pump, burnout truck full of human parts in the driveway, basement dwellings. Yeah, everybody. Yeah, check out the structure. Yeah. Yeah, the shelves can leave. They're not affixed to the house. Rise of Cooper. Cooper zombie, dead. Mrs. Cooper zombie, dead. Oh, guess maybe the cellar was the safest place. I don't know. I think this is out of our price range. Contact your local realtor to find out for sure. While you're here, feel free to test the floor with a table leg.
Hey, Vince, Al, you want to get about 4 or 5 men and a couple dogs? There's a house over here behind those trees. We want to go check it out.
Thank
You still here, Bill?
Yeah, Chief, we're going to stay with it till we meet up with the National Guard.
Where'd you get the coffee?
One of the volunteers, you're doing all the work, you take it.
Thank you. We should be wrapped up here about 3 or 4 more hours. We'll probably get into Willard then. I guess you can go over there and meet the National Guard. Nick, you and the rest of these men want to come with me?
Well, Bill, let's check in the office, see what's happening. All right, Steve, tell them we're going to stay with it, and everything appears to be under control.
Under control? This is just the beginning of many, many zombie movies. Oh, wake up, Ben. Wake up. It's morning. You can get rescued now. Come on. Last night's party didn't work. Yeah, they're shooting up the zombies. It's cool.
They need you down there by the barn. Some of these guys can follow the wagon down. I only need a few men to check out the house. Somebody had a cookout here, Vince. Yeah, sure looks like it.
Yeah, a zombie cookout. Dead in the field. Ah! Oh! Down. Oh, my face. My beautiful, beautiful face.
Get up here. Nick, Tony, Steve, you want to get out in that field and build me a bonfire?
Yeah, bonfire.
You, drag that out of here and throw it on the fire.
Okay, Ben, this is when you gotta shout out and say,
go ahead
hey,
down and give him a hand.
I need help. I'm alive. Don't shoot me.
I heard a noise.
Yeah, instead just stare through the window. Like you're a living dead person. Yeah, that's it. Don't say a thing. Oh! God. And after all that, Ben gets shot anyway.
Let's go get him. That's another
Joking
one for the
aside,
fire.
that sucks. No. Sad times. Yeah. Meat hooks. Ben. The rest of the family.
Keep those dogs back off of those things.
Credits roll. No happy endings. But a true horror classic. The movie that started the whole zombie craze. Except no substitutes. Night of the Living Dead. George A. Romero. Sad case of Ben. Oh, and there's zombie number one. Yeah.
Let's go, man.
Zombie one, Ben.
Hey, Randy, light these
All the
torches
rest.
over here. People in the back, way in the back.
And it all goes up in flames. Classic times. The end. So what y'all think? This is a classic. You know, before Walking Dead, Return of the Living Dead, Evening at the Improv with the Dead appear at Ren and Stimpy's, and all the other things, Resident Evil, you know. Yeah, this movie started it all. It's the classic of classics. Black and white, 1968. Amazing. Night of the Living Dead. Well, that's about all for Alien the Talking Xenomorph Reviews a Movie. Thank God for public domain.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Night of the living dead.
Hehehehe